Going on the Winners Win podcast? It's your boy Loso 2.0. And today, let's see, what are we going to talk about today? So we're going to talk about the rules for studying. That's what I'm going to talk about right now for you guys. And it goes into a lot of stuff that I'm learning from reading. I've already read this book, actually. My 7th book this year so far, The Secret Science of Getting Rich by Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher. Before we get started with that stuff, I like to do some housekeeping things. Please like this video, share, subscribe to the Winners Win channel. If you listen to us on any type of podcast platform, leave a 5-star review. Leave a review below so I can figure out how I can better serve you. And actually, do I even want to talk about the rules for studying? I might just want to go to actually going into intellectual factors, right? I'm gonna go to intellectual factors actually this episode. So there's actually 6 intellectual factors. There's perception, will, imagination, memory, intuition, and reason. And I'm gonna get to talking about each one. So first is perception, because this is actually a sneak peek into me writing into my 2nd book. And perception, actually, I wrote a whole paragraph about this, John. Give me 1 second. So apparently, with perception, it's basically how you perceive something else. Excuse me. It's, like I said, it's pretty much how you perceive something else going into it. So let me see right now for perception. And perceptions are made from experiences, okay? So basically, you experience something, and this is actually kind of like wisdom in a way. You experience something, so now the way that you perceive everything else is an attest to what you did. So for example, right, when I was younger, I actually got bit by a dog in my butt. So I was running from a dog. I was running, it was a big, huge dog. It was chasing me around this light pole. I held onto the light pole as hard as I can and actually bit me on my butt cheek. And then ever since then, I was scared of dogs because I perceived them as some wild animals when in reality, they're really not. They're really cuddly, they love and all stuff like that. But that's what my perception was because of my experience with it, right? Second is your will. Your will is something what makes you human, right? This is what separates us. Oh, I forgot to put the darn light on. Our will is what actually separates us from other animals and creatures and stuff, because we can actually choose to do something or not to do something. The will is the God within us, right? For example, when God sit here, all the times he saved all the people in the books, right? Let's just talk about Exodus, for example. He saved them from Egypt when they were actually in captivity. We were all slaves and all that stuff, right? People still chose to actually build a monument of Baal and worship that stuff, even though he did it. Now, we have the choice to or to not do that stuff regardless, right? So that actually was our willpower, which actually is kind of funny because it actually goes with the rules for studying, right? Which is don't reject anything, don't accept anything, listen to everything, think about and consider everything, but apply ideas that make sense to you, right? So it's like you were getting a book, you're reading a book. You know what I mean? You may not like something, but don't not like something. Don't like something. Just listen to it. Just study it. Think about it, every single thing that you learn, and then apply what makes sense to you. You can choose. You have the will to choose that stuff. Now, third is imagination. Imagination is basically, it's our thought process, right? So imagination is what actually is our ability to actually create things that have not happened yet. But we have that as humans, right? This is what is our sixth sense. Our sixth sense is the ability for us to actually take certain things and take certain concepts that we're doing, especially when we're writing our goals down, doing that stuff, and actually transform it into what we want to do. Remember, everything that you are looking at will start off as an idea. And this idea started off in your mind, and then your thought process was so strong you were able to bring it to, right? Most successful people, this is their power. Their power is their ability to actually really study something so hard that they're able to transform the idea of it and grow it into something bigger, because that is the whole point of us as humans, right? We're spirit. Spirit is our higher self. Physical is our carnal self. It's like Cain and Abel, right? Abel was the spiritual or the higher self within us because Abel actually, was spiritual. And then Cain was the physical, carnal part of us. And just like with the idea of polarity, the devil and the angel on your shoulder, you see it's all coming together, right? Our spirit is actually our higher point of ourselves. The whole point of your spirit is to expand and become full of expression. So it's actually your job, in a way, to become some sort of entrepreneur. Now, I'm not saying you have to be one, but just to do something. You have a job on here. You have to become more and more like yourself. When you become more and more like yourself, you become a better version of yourself, right? This is how you become the 2.0 version of yourself. It's a matter of getting that spiritual side of us, right? Remember the devil and the angel, becoming more on the spiritual side, because the spirit, the whole part of the spirit is always for expansion and fuller expression. So it's to grow and grow and grow. I gave you a good example is I was watching an interview and this guy was talking about how like he became successful. He was like, you think of it as a cup of water, right? And it's stacked up on different cups. In this water, you have to keep pouring and pouring and pouring, but it's only so much this water can hold. And then eventually it just starts pouring out, and then you have to get other cups to collect the water. So you start collect this. The water represents your information. You keep getting information and knowledge and wisdom going into this cup to the point where this cup overflows and actually starts flowing down in the other cups. And that's what makes you successful, because you become more valuable. That's the part of your spirit. It's to expand and become more like yourself, or more like water, right? Be shapeless, be formless. You know that Bruce Lee thing. So that is actually the whole point of our spirit, is become a better version of ourselves. So we actually are put on this earth to do something, to be entrepreneur in a way, right? To be a better version of yourself. Because entrepreneurship is only just a full expression of yourself, right? So anyway, though, so we got perception, we got will, we got imagination down the line. Fourth is memory, right? Your memory is an intellectual factor. They say IQ is actually closely related to memory, right? Your ability to memorize certain things, right? All of these books, a lot of these books are saying the same thing, just in different ways. The Bible is the same way. It's saying a lot of stuff in different ways, right? But you're taking all this stuff, it keeps getting drilled and drilled and drilled and drilled into your mind until it actually becomes something good. Remember, I had an interview, my first episode ever for Winners Win, right? I had an interview with Helen Norberry. Or my first interview ever. I had an interview with Helen Norberry where she talked about the idea of there's only two different ways to grow your mind, right? First one is through psychodynamic therapy, which is when they actually go and they, take you back to that sleep state or dream state when you were before 7 years old, and you could pick up things easier and then start to attack some of those defense mechanisms. Now, the second thing that they could do is repetition. And repetition with memory is what drills it into your mind. Keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. Cool. Fear not, Bruce Lee, fear not the man who did 10,000 kicks. Did 10,000 different kicks one time, but fear the man who did one kick 10,000 times. So repetition gets that memory in there. Fifth, intuition. Your intuition is that gut feeling to allow you to, let me give you an example. Have you ever before, right, felt like something was wrong before it happened and you stated before? I know this happens to me all the time. I know something's wrong. I know something's up. And I keep saying, you can feel energy. This is your sixth sense. Your ability to feel different people's energies and auras. You have to, this is actual a true thing. Your intuition, that energy feeling is one of the intellectual factors that you have. And the last one is reason. Your ability to make logical assessments based off of the information provided to you, right? And to come up with your own thing. So that's one of the intellectual factors is you're collecting information like a lawyer, right? Like a lawyer, they collect, or a jury, they're collecting all this information from the different lawyers. Maybe some are lying, maybe some perceiving certain things. And then they come with a logical reasoning for the thing happen. Remember, you need this intellectual factor because this is the second reason why people buy. They first buy what? Emotion. And the second thing is they back it up with what? Logic. We talked about this plenty of times, right? So your reasoning ability, your deductive reasoning ability actually is one of the stronger intellectual factors. So that's really all I have for you guys today. Dang, I'm getting all this stuff right here. I'm gonna, let you guys know that on that finale episode, to basically update on everything. I want you guys to keep killing the day, and most of all, if you're watching this on YouTube, like this video, share, subscribe. Like I said, I want you to comment below what is your favorite intellectual factor. And if you're listening to Intempo podcast platform, 5-star reviews, keep killing the day. Remember, winners win, losers lose, and you pray for success like this. 2.0 out.